Okay, welcome back, guys. Sebastian here. So I want to continue my my dive into mind and how this has built a layer of kind of understanding for myself, and maybe is touching on some things that are maybe controversial, or because it gets into some religion, or I'd say religion, but this is not really religion. It's using an aspect of a religious book, the Bible. So, but it's not. This is not how religion, the church, the Christian church. This is not how they teach it. Although I feel like it makes a lot of sense. So let's just look at what I've got here in my notes. So so let's the first we're gonna like just kind of go back into the last video and just kind of just get some ground rules about mind. So in my opinion, in my experience, and how I'm approaching this topic, is that mind is it's like the base of all reality. It is a foundational assumption. It is a principle, and what would be considered a postulate. We're treating mind as the postulate of the postulate is that mind is ever present. It is a foundational assumption, but there's no proof for that. I can't prove it. It's all kind of like self-evident, I guess, is how we would look at that. So mind is it's the field. It is the infinite field of everything that we experience, and all that we experience is a product of mind. So, and then the brain, it is just a manifestation of mind. Now it exhibits the qualities of mind, and that's why we have this this is why we call the brain the mind, is because the mind is mind. The brain is minding. That's the action that it is doing, and um, it's the biological process. But it's also this this consciousness, this awareness below or as part of this biological process. So we got all the things that the brain does that that are, you know, physical thinking and and receiving and processing the signals that our body sends it, but then also being able to contemplate, to imagine, um, to believe, to ponder ideas. None of that stuff is physical. None of it's happening in reality where we can touch it or measure it, really. So the brain is like a fractal of mind. It is not mind. It is not the mind, but it is mind. So now this led me to thinking about how the mind came into being, or came from being. Because if you think of source as being the one, it is always, it is infinite. And so, was mind created by Source? Was it created by God? Or was it already like part of Source, part of this infinite being, innate within pure, unmanifested intelligence? And so, if we look at it as, so mind is definitely a potential, because one includes everything, but it's like unmanifested. So it's there. It's a potential, but it has not come into being yet. And so, if Source is ever present, all knowing, all powerful, but it's not expressing any of that, it just is, what does it take for it to become all of these things, to express those things? So, I mean, nothing I'm saying here is fact. It's like, this is just a thought experiment, and it seems to be productive for me, and you can judge it based on like what I'm presenting here. But if mind is arising out of Source, or arising within Source, the physical world, matter, the physical being, is required. It's like this default position, this default kind of process, because if mind needs something to mind about, and so it's like a necessary creation of mind. So I would almost say that mind is first in time, but only in that mind is required for matter, and matter is required for mind. It's almost like it's a chicken and an egg argument. So, well, who knows? There's certain things that we can't know. Now, maybe we can have some thought experiments deeper into that kind of position, but we're going to kind of just let that be, that mind requires matter, matter requires mind. And because if matter needs something to interact with, if there's nothing to interact with, then mind is unnecessary and is not expressing at all. So that's kind of how I see it. Now, we have Source, we have the original, we have the one, we have the ever-presentness, the undivisible, is now dividing itself into mind and matter. Now, it's not that it separates completely, and now you have the one and you have two. You have a one that has differentiated itself within itself so that it can experience itself. And this is in the Christian religion of the Trinity. So the Trinity is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Source is the Father, mind is the Holy Spirit, and matter is the Son. or the Word. And this Trinity is what creates the infinite one. It is all are required for everything to be. So this first Trinity, the source, mind, and matter, are now present. Now, as soon as mind and matter come into being from this Trinity, mind and matter create a trinity of trinities. It's like it's an immediate kind of expression of mind and matter. So when I say a trinity of trinities, the Trinity is time, space, and matter. And each of that Trinity is a trinity. So time is past, present, and future, like the temporal experience of past, present, and future. Space is 3 dimensions of length, width, and height. And that gives us, our 3-dimensional experience. And then matter is gas, liquid, solid. And that is the perceptual experience of 3 dimensions. So this is what I would say is the Big Bang. This immediate expansion of the Trinity of Trinities, time, space, and matter. And when I say the Big Bang, I'm not referring to some sort of explosion of this infinitesimal thing. Like, I think it is no thingness expanding into everything all at once. Like, I don't think that is unfathomable, because we're speaking about something that really we can't truly comprehend. And the ability for this one source of everything to create or to manifest everything that we can see and experience is completely possible. Like, why would it not be? How can I put a limit on what God is, what God can do, or what source can do or cannot do, or what it has done or not done? If I'm making any sort of assumptions in that way, I have exalted my own intelligence beyond what is actually real. So that is that's where I'm at with that. Like, I'm not my 3-pound brain cannot grasp the infinite, all-powerful being that we point to and label it as God or source or one. Just putting a name on it, putting a label on it, is already limiting it to some sort of concept within our brain, and that is limiting. So our very expression of this concept is a limiting concept, and we've already lost sight of the reality of this one. And that's a huge understanding of our limitation. And if you can understand that limitation, it allows us to do what we're doing right here. So this great expansion, this big bang, this this immediate expression of everything that we're experiencing is the infinity becoming aware of itself and having a relationship with itself, or experiencing itself as a relationship. Okay, so this is how Source is kind of playing out its own. It's playing out like a game of self-recognition. It's playing a game with itself. It's dividing itself so that it can see itself and have a relationship with itself, because nothing else exists outside of itself. And so it must differentiate itself into this infinite number of manifestations to witness itself from any point of itself. I think in the last video we talked about this a little bit, like each individual person, each individual sentient being, whether it be an insect or an animal or a bacteria or anything that we can imagine that might have some sort of intelligence within it, is a unique perspective of the one in relationship with itself. So you've got an infinite number of perspectives perceiving from an infinite number of points. So now this is where the Bible in Genesis 1:1, it says, in the beginning, that's time, God, Source, created, is manifesting, the heavens, space, and the earth, matter. So it says right there in the first verse of the Bible that time, space, and matter came into being all at once in the beginning. Now, another way you could put this and not be biblical would be within the timeless one, Source, the potential for time, space, and matter manifested, and thus the infinite began to witness itself. And it's kind of saying the same thing, putting it in a little different language, and maybe hopefully opening our mind to what is actually happening in this. And this process never stopped. Like this first cause is what led to everything, and it led to it instantaneously. Why not? This process is an infinite, recursive unfolding that is feeding back onto itself and creating more and more and more. It is not creating less. Less is not coming from what is happening. It is all more. It's more. Never stops. And it's happening at an exponential rate. And when I say exponential, it's not like doubling, tripling. It is in this calculation we'll look at in a minute. It's crazy. So now this is, it's so it's so ironic. It's beautifully ironic in that what appears to be so complex, this material universe. I mean, just our bodies. Just look at our bodies and how complex that is. Now we just include everything, include the universe. It's like so complex we cannot fathom the complexity. But it is so simple when you trace it back to the source. It's like the deeper you dig, the complexity just goes away. It just disappears. It dissolves back into the one. So you've got the form, that this physical world, that dissolves into energy. And what is energy? Energy is just vibration. It is sound. Sound creates the vibration, creates the energy. Sound is vibration. Now, this vibration comes from thought, and thought is born from pure awareness, and this pure awareness is where we find this undivided stillness of the one source. So it's just a few steps from stillness, the one, to everything that is through these few simple processes. And the simplicity only appears to be complex because what we're experiencing is reflections and refractions of the one. So what we are experiencing is really just the one, but we are experiencing it as what I think it's Buddhism calls it, the 10,000 things. I mean, really, it's like more like the 10 trillion things, but the 10,000 things is like, it's a cute way of pointing toward all the complexity. So now this reflected reality, this refracted reality that we are experiencing as space, time, and matter, that is where we get these concepts of the matrix, the dream, the illusion, the algorithm, the hologram, the simulation, the mystery. All of these words are describing this process. And it depends on what you're trying to say and how you're trying to relay the information, but all of these words are pointing toward the same concept. And so now here's where it kind of gets a little crazy. I was looking at like how to express this mathematically. And so you have the one, the source, and it is this one now is the source, the mind, and the matter cubed, one cubed, which is still just one. It's all one, but it has divided itself in such a way that it is expressed as like one cubed. And now we're going to multiply that times the trinity of trinities, which is time, space, and matter, divided into its Trinitarian positions. And now we're going to reiterate that any number of times, n being the exponent of the trinity of trinities. So what this kind of produces is 27 raised to the power of n, because you have 1 cubed, which is 1. 1 times 3 cubed is 27. And now we're raising that 27 an infinite number of times. And that exponent, each increase in exponent could be seen as a layer of reality, a dimension of experience. And as that increases and refolds and recurses back onto itself in this fractal kind of way, we are giving rise to everything. And it even explains the multiverse in a way. Even the multiverse almost is a little bit it's a little bit deceptive in thinking that the multiverse means that there is more than one, but really it is still the one, and it is expressing itself in a multitude of ways, and then we get from that the universe that we are living in, the universe, the one song. And it's all one song. Even the multiverse is part of the one song. I'd almost say it's like the multiverse is an infinite number of cover bands singing the same song, just in a slightly different way. So it's still the same song, it's just sung slightly differently by each cover band. And so now this is kind of where it gets wild, and I had to look this up. There is an estimated number of atoms in the universe, in our visible universe, and this estimated number it's really hooey. It's total BS when you really look at it. It's us trying to decipher reality, and it's really a futile attempt at it, because there's no way we know this. It's literally just it's not an arbitrary number, but it is arbitrary in the fact that we are so limited in the way we can calculate and understand the universe. We just have to see it. It's not real. It is for the thought experiment. So there are 10 to the 80 atoms. Now, I don't even know how that would express. It'd be like one with 80 or 80 zeros behind it. Like that's how many atoms are in the universe. And to reach this number of atoms using that original the original equation, where you have 27 raised to the power of n, how many iterations would it take to get to 10 to the 80? And it would only take 56. 56 iterations from nothingness to everything that is visible in our universe. And that's not including anything we can't see or can't even think about measuring, the unknown unknowns. We're not even talking about that. We're only talking about what we can physically detect and then kind of extrapolate through crazy equations, this 10 to the 80 number. So 56 iterations. Now, how long would it take to go through those 56 iterations? If the first iteration, where we get the number 27, the Trinity of Trinities, that is the base of everything that exists, if that happens instantaneously, why could everything else not happen instantaneously, or what we would perceive as instantaneous based on our perception of time. We can say, the general consensus, I guess, right now is that the known universe is 13.4 billion years old. Now, where they came up with that number, to me, it's hooey. It's only a representation of what we can physically measure, but the physical universe is not all there is. That's what physics likes to believe, and that is the religion of physics. But it's not the reality. But we have to limit ourselves to be able to even do these thought experiments, because everything is everything, refracting and reflecting and interacting with everything. So there is no way to take in and calculate every variable. In physics, scientists know this, but they just kind of skim over it. They don't really talk about that. They never use that as a qualifying position. Like, okay, well, we really don't know, and all this is just kind of we're assuming a lot of different things, and we're going to use those assumptions to make more assumptions, and then we're going to get 13.4 billion years and 10 to the 80 atoms. But we're going to use that because it's accepted. So these 56 iterations, let's say each iteration takes 1 billion years. So that means the universe would be 56 billion years old. But why can't that be a millisecond, 56 milliseconds, or 56 fractions of a millisecond? Instantaneous. And everything that is existing in a blink of an eye. What would limit that from being true? Really nothing. There's nothing that we can think of that would limit that, except our own physical constraints in this physical reality that we are experiencing, which is not all of reality. So now another thing that I calculated was how big is our solar system, just the sun and the planets that go around it. And that is believed to be about 40 iterations. So 40 iterations gives us our solar system. 16 more gives us the entire universe. So 40 iterations is our solar system. One more iteration gives us the Milky Way. That's crazy. It's like the Milky Way or our solar system is an infinitesimal point within our Milky Way galaxy. And it only takes one iteration to go from the solar system to a galaxy. Now, what does one iteration past a galaxy give us? That's already huge. And so we are so limited in our understanding of this universe that we could actually just say we literally know nothing. We know nothing. We have only made this tiniest of tiny pinpricks in the fabric of reality, and we assume we know. Oh, the Earth is billions of years old. The universe is 13.4 billion. I mean, we're even getting kind of specific here, even though 0.4 billion years is still a lot of years. What if it's 0.4, 2, 3, 6, 7, 10, 9, whatever. So we're pretending to know things we don't know, and then we sell that as if we know, and then create religions around it. And when I say religions, I'm not just talking about Christianity and Buddhism and Hinduism and all these things. Science is a religion. It is a belief system. And all of these things that we think we know are really just beliefs. They're concepts. Everything within science is a concept of a concept of a concept of a concept. It's all concepts. None of it is actually truth. It's only pointing toward truth. Nothing we can do and think and believe is truth. All of it is just pointing toward truth. And so the calculations that we make, that is the science of physics, is only measuring the physical universe. And the physical universe is only a fraction of what is. Now, physics doesn't like to look at it from that view, because it puts it right in their face how much we don't know. And that is psychologically destabilizing and can lead to what we're going to cover in the next video, is nihilism. That none of this matters. It's all just a big dream. We're just along for the ride. We got no control and nothing matters. And so I want to get into that in the next video. So if you want to see what I got to say about that, then come on back, and hopefully I can see you in the next video. Bye for now.